warm welcome everyone. We are starting with our next session, Talent Transformation Upskilling India for GCC. I would now like to invite CA Rajesh Sharma sir and CA Chhaira sir to escort our panelist, CA Kshitij Patel sir, CA Sachin Rathi sir, founder Karma CPA Services, CA Viral Kanbar, founder and mentor Be Free, Mr. Shreyansh Shah, CEO and Director, CITY Infrastructure Private Limited. Thank you so much, sir. I would now like to request CA Chhaira sir and CA Rajesh Sharma sir to welcome our faculties and panelists with a token of appreciation.
बाद में मेरे टेबल पर
Sure, sure.
आपके पास डबल है क्या?
हाँ. Done? Yes, yes. CA Kshitij Patel, then CA Sachin Rathi sir, then he is founder Karma CPA Services. Thank you, sir. CA Viral Kanbar, founder and mentor Be Free. Thank you, sir. Mr. Shreyansh Shah, CEO and Director, CITY Infrastructure Private Limited. Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would request CA Rajesh Sharma, sir, Central Council member, for his opening remarks.
Moderator of the program, dynamic, energetic, ever-smiling, and youngest council member of ICI, Chhaira ji. Sir, youngest है नहीं पर हर समय youngest हर समय permanent रहेगा इनके पास में. He is always the youngest. And the galaxy of panelists out here, Mr. Kshitij Patel, Mr. Sachin Rathi, Chartered Accountant again, CA Viral Kanbar, and Mr. Shreyansh Shah. So we welcome each and every one of you out here so that from your deliberation, from your words of wisdom, I can say all the attendees, they will go more enlightened and will definitely ensure a further role for the GCC. And this goes to be the most important session I can say, because previously it used to be when we speak of GCC in India, it was about scale. But now it is not about scale. Now it is about skill. Now it is about speed. Now it is about satisfaction of the client and the world. So that's the change we have done. And upskilling India for GCC 4, I can say it is a mission. Here, we need to have the policy vision, the corporate strategy, and the human ambition. When they meet together, then we upscale and upskill to the level of GCC 4. Here, we stand at the cusp of this GCC 4. Previously, it used to be a back office work, but now it is not. Now it is a hub of innovation, AI-driven decisions, I can say even value creations. So that is the change which we are seeing. India is home for almost 50% of the GCCs across the globe. Now I can say, previously it used to be the cost centers because it was lesser costly to have a GCC here. Now it is competence center. So that is the way we are transforming. I can say technology is advancing faster than talent. That is for sure. So when technology is advancing faster than talent, then we need to keep the pace. We need to keep the pace, and upskilling is must in that. So it is not optional. Here it is existential. If we don't upgrade, upskill, we cannot exist. So there are advantages of India's demography. We are large in numbers when we compare the number of professionals. But at the same time, Indians have an eager to learn, to adapt, and to lead. Combined with these numbers, definitely we are going to do wonders, and lot more to come for the GCC in future. I can say, previously if you check of yesteryears, the skills were of accounting, and in IT it was for coding or for analytics. But now the things have changed. It is not so now. So friends, here in India, we create workforce that is globally competitive and locally rooted. We need to collaborate between the government, the academia, the industry, and the professional bodies like ICI. With this, over to Abhay for giving you insight why this upskilling is required to go with the world, to be with the bus, and catch the bus. So over to Abhay. Thank you very much.
This session is strategically given to CA Chhaira, sir, our energetic Central Council member. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Aishwarya. Well, I'll straight away come to the business rather than coming with any, initial remarks. Let us come straight to the business. I believe that this is the most important session for this particular conference, talent transformation. Why do I say that? Well, we chartered accountants, we have already proved that when it comes to domain expertise, we are excellent. Let it be income tax, let it be GST, company law, audit, whatever, we are excellent. But when it comes to skills, leadership skills, vision building, strategy, when it comes to communication skills, presentation skills, I think we require improving upon this. So in this particular session, we are going to talk about talent transformation. Well, all my dear panelists, of course, we have a fantastic panel today, right? And we are going to ask all of them some very, very relevant questions. And I will be very happy if you have questions. After some time, we'll keep it open for you also. We want it very interactive and very meaningful. Let there be 4 points being discussed, but they should be useful to you, right? There should be takeaway from the session that is more important rather than just any session coming up. Even if each of our panelists gives you one input, one insight, and if you can develop yourself in that terms, I think that serves the purpose. So what I understand, Kshitij bhai, what I understand, when we talk about talent, there are two connotations here. Number one is the skill set that a person should have. That is what is the talent. And second, of course, with reference to GCC, when we are talking about team. We are talking about the HR. I think these are both the things. But let me start with the first one. Because all those people who have joined this particular program from various 15 states of India, they have come here with the mindset that they want to start their own GCC. I think that is the mindset, or at least after coming here and listening to many panelists, they have started dreaming that. So how is it possible? How should they start with? What are the talent? What are the skills? Right? What should they do? What are those things, right, which can make them create such type of GCC? Let us start with that. So let me, Chhajed bhai, start with you.
Thank you, Jai. When we talk, I'll straight away come to the answers to it. Basically, when we talk about skills, I would always, the first thing what comes to my mind is the attitude. Positive attitude, adopting to a change is very important, because we cannot wait. As Jai said, we are good domain expert at our own fields, maybe tax, maybe audit, or etc., etc. But when it comes to the leadership skills or motivational skill, or how you take your team together, that becomes very more important. So your attitude matters. See, in this part of India, we have few terms like chalse, thai jase, bhul thai gayi. All this has to come through a change. When you talk about international global business, there is no concept of chalse. They are worried about the quality, they are worried about the time. If you can deliver within that particular time, you tell them that you will deliver. Otherwise, tell them that we cannot deliver and we will be able to deliver by so and so time. That is the change of perspective which should come about. Whatever may be the case when we are talking about Indian clients, but this does not work in the international client scene. You have to deliver. So consequently, the next thing would come is the communication. Communication is very important with the client. Therefore, whatever your expectation is and the client's expectation, it has to be communicated to each other and communicated in a right manner. Once you do that, you are there to grow globally. Secondly, as far as the GCC is concerned, always my observation is whether you invest in infrastructure or you invest in people or you get your clients, which comes first. So I always say that it has to be your infrastructure, your resources, your knowledge base. Then only you go on to build or market a GCC abroad, so that they know your skills, they know that you are a good communicator, you have good systems in place, and that is how you can succeed.
Fantastic. Should I ask the same thing to Viral bhai also? Viral bhai, if you can add something to this.
I probably will kind of connect with what Sir said. What I normally observe in my organization, learn to say no. We just don't say no to anything, but we at the same time don't deliver what is expected. And I think this is where the clear and effective and transparent communication matters a lot. I think from the skill set perspective, one of the biggest challenge, I'll just talk about my own experience, is the effective communication, internally as well as externally, right? I think this is where all of us as a chartered accountant need to focus a lot more, because from the capability perspective, I think we are brilliant. We can kill it. But when it comes to kind of having that effective communication with client, or with any stakeholders, be it your internal stakeholder or external stakeholder, that effective communication becomes the key of what you are actually trying to convey to your, to your client or your staff. I think the second challenge or skill set I see personally being a chartered accountant, sometimes missing in a lot of my colleagues, is the innovation. They would like to keep doing the same thing again and again and again without even thinking that how do I do this better? Am I doing the same thing last year? Is it the same thing I'm doing this year? So having that innovative approach within the, in our mindset. Sometimes I normally quote, many of my, to many of my clients and colleagues that many of chartered accountants like us, are we an accidental accountant? We have to think that. Sometimes we have just been pushed to become a chartered accountant, but your skill sets might be lot better and lot different. So give a try to it, right? You could innovate the product, you could innovate the system, you could innovate the new processes. It doesn't have to be debit and credit day in, day out. So I think that innovation mindset is very much required. And again, you don't need to really sit down and think that, okay, I'm going to innovate. I think innovation needs to be done in what you do on a daily basis. That how do I do it better? How do I think that laziness is required. Can I make my life easier by, not punching data into the Excel, but is there a better way of doing it? So I think, effective communication, innovation, and be an accidental accountant. That's what.
Thank you. Sachin, let me come to you. Now, one very interesting thing that happens, whenever we have programs and there is a session on foreign accounting, outsourcing, whatever the nomenclature is there, and now GCC. After that, Rajesh bhai, what happens, in the next week, daily we are going to get 10 calls. It will be, subah phone aayega. Sir, actually I want to start with foreign accounting. And I understand. This gentleman has done nothing. He has just attended a session. So I'll say that, मैं तुझे एक भी contact नहीं दूंगा. And not only that, people go out of the way. A young girl will call me. Sir, मैंने अभी 2 साल पहले CA complete किया है. मुझे है ना सूरत में ही ये काम करना है. और मैं उसको बोलता हूँ मुझे भी प्रियंका चोपड़ा से ही शादी करनी है. अरे वो भी तो रेडी होनी चाहिए. वैसे तो तेरा क्लाइंट भी तो होना चाहिए जो वहां आने के लिए तैयार है. मतलब जस्ट अटेंडिंग वन सेशन, राइट? अब आपने तो जीसीसी पूरा अटेंड कर लिया है. ओनली अटेंडिंग वन सेशन, एवरीबडी वांट्स टू हैव फॉरेन अकाउंटिंग. हर एक जन सोचना स्टार्ट करता है. बट आर वी एक्चुअली वर्किंग अपॉन दैट, राइट? हम उसके लिए कुछ स्ट्रेटेजी बना रहे हैं, हम सोच रहे हैं. सो सचिन, टेल मी वन थिंग. This is a question which commonly I think many young chartered accountants have asked me. Why only young chartered accountants? Everybody has asked, कि sir शुरू कैसे करें? शुरू कैसे करें? So tell, what are the skills required, or maybe talent, or what is the way if they want to go to US market, they want to go to, और इनको बताना पड़ेगा यार council member को phone करने से नहीं होगा ये. So
I would actually start with thanking out ICAI and the committee for organizing such a beautiful event with a wide variety of panelists as well as topics. Also giving opportunity to young entrepreneurial chartered accountants like us who actually represent a voice which is right in center of the generation X and the Gen Z, being the generation Y. So we are the ones who are actually, either dealing with them for the Gen Zs or directly ourselves with the Gen Zs. So I think the topic being very relevant, and the entire one pillar is talent and the entire another pillar is all the other topics that we have in the session. So I think this is the key that is attracting GCCs or attracting outsourcing firms, and that is what is the key blockage, I would say, as well, for any entrepreneur sitting here who understands there's inflow of work. That is what we were discussing just now. There's ample inflow of work. There's lack of quality that we would like to deliver at. So it is absolutely about the talent transformation. When we see how to start, I would share brief about what we done, what we did and how we started. So, being from Surat, we have a lot of Navsari, Bharuch ke hoteliers hain abroad, right? So those are easy, low-hanging connections. They understand Surat talent. They could visit whenever they are back home. They understand chartered accountancy. They understand we know the debits and credits and we can deliver at quality. So our initial business was them. And then their CPAs was something that we pitched. Okay, please introduce me to your CPAs. Please introduce me to your tenants, to your lease owners. So one thing leads to another, but one key aspect which is missing, which I would say is a good prerequisite to have, at least among chartered accountants, is the analytical skills, the advisory skills. You don't want to enter into data entry today, right? You know it is going to be redundant either today or tomorrow. So we work with so many controllers, CFOs, and I honestly feel most of my team leads are much better, at least at analyzing and visioning what could have gone wrong, what could have been done better, and advising the business as an advisory, M&A advisory jo hoti, I think that is what we could do. That is what the skill set that I see in my team. But we are not delivering that. We are delivering, sir, these are the queries. You need these, answers to be done. So that is the prerequisite and good starting point, I feel, to kill. And that is not difficult. Soft skill, communication, again, bare minimum, may take time. But with any client even that you pitch first time, you talk about the value addition and advisory that you could do rather than just a set of bookkeeping tasks that you could deliver.
One very important thing that is said, very important. Yesterday also, up to 12 o'clock or late night, we were there and many people are asking, Karna to hai, kaise kare? So look at the very good answer. The city from which he is, he could find out that in the surrounding towns, there are some people who are based at US. So they could see the source. आप पहले source तो check करिए. आपके आसपास भी source होगा. Find out the source. How would you connect with them? Find it out. Right? आपको source तक जाना पड़ेगा. See, first is you really want to come into this. Right? Sincerely you want to come into this. Otherwise, next week you will be into valuation program. और फिर आप valuer बनना चाहेंगे. And then insolvency. Right? So please understand, be very sure you want to come into this. And then find out, आप sources तक कैसे पहुंचेंगे? Right? As it is said, that if mountain does not come to Muhammad, Muhammad has to go to mountain. ये तो नहीं होगा सामने से आपके पास काम आएगा. Find out the sources. Find out the sources. I think that's a very, very crucial thing. He could locate initial sources. See, कहीं से कुछ initial source तो चाहिए. Once you get to it, and then secondary sources. फिर एक बार शुरू हो गया ना, एक बार शुरू हो गया, you are comfortable. Then you will go ahead. I think this was a very, very crucial thing for everyone. So let me come to you, Shreyansh bhai. Shreyansh bhai, what is the talent landscape that you are looking at it in India? Like yesterday also, very nicely one of our speakers put up that earlier people used to come to India for cost arbitrage, but now it is talent arbitrage. I think this is something, a beautiful statement, right? As Indian, I am very happy to listen to it. So how do you look at the talent landscape here?
First of all, I would like to thank August audience. Saturday afternoon post-lunch, this is the gathering, so that's the ICAI strength. And I am the only odd man out. I'm not this representing Chartered Accountant Institute. I'm engineer by profession and realtor by profession. Sir, as you rightly said, things have drastically changed. Earlier we were BPOs, KPOs, processing units, to now it is capability centers. So that name itself says everything. Earlier, we were just doing data entries. Now it is about intellectual properties and talent what we have. So by and large, next 1 or 2 decades, I would like to say that India, obviously being the demographic pattern and almost 30% of the global talent currently is in India, which is good in language also. So next 2 decades at least is the time of India, definitely from the demographic pattern point of view, talent point of view. And obviously, CA, it is a very intellectual thing. So generally, this room presents the top management or maybe the senior or middle management. And we are not only talking about GCCs, because GCCs represent also, which is the bottom of the pyramid, which is almost 70% of the talent that represent accountancy or financial or technology or management skills, but not qualified chartered accountants like you. So it's more of nowadays leadership and more of talent management and keeping them attached with your organizational growth. And that is what Gen Z nowadays looks forward to. So that's the biggest challenge. All of us currently in our organization would have vacancies, I'm sure. At the same time, we talk about unemployment. So there is a gap. The talent available is not industry ready. And what industry demands, there are vacancies, but we are not able to fulfill those. So the gap between these two things is the area which I feel as an institution like ICAI or maybe a Center of Excellences on all those things can bridge that. And that is most important for the current scenario. That is my understanding as per the current situation.
Fantastic. Please. Any of the speaker, whenever you want to barge in, you are most welcome.
I would like
please.
to add that India is the back office to the world. And now it is, when we talk about the service provider, India is a service provider to the world. So where the talent is in India. When we look at the East and West, there is a huge case of aging population among accountants. That is the biggest challenge what the East and the West are facing. And in India today, we should take advantage of that. And that is another reason why we are moving away from the cost arbitrage and moving towards the skill set. Because in the countries like US or Australia or UK, the accounting is not a preferred degree for anybody, the youngsters. They don't want to work. They want to have four days a week. They want to have work-life balance more than what anyone can provide. And that is how the whole thing goes. Therefore, India is in the right place at the right time with the right talent, I would say. Because 1.4 billion population, young population, 65% of the people below 30 years of age, and that is where the advantage lies. So we have ample amount of institutions with us to grow this into a large workforce. The only thing is now getting the university and the industry aligned to each other to get the right type of people and skills.
Thank you very much. Very rightly pointed out, they want to work only for 4 days. थोड़ा इंडिया में शुरू हो गया है. हफ्ते में 4 शनिवार होने चाहिए. That has started in India, of course, with the Gen Zs and all. I'll just come to that part. But here comes a very important issue. So I'll come one by one. My first thing is, what is our expectation from our government? 2, what is the expectation from ICAI? Because this program is being organized by ICAI, we'll have to introspect with ourselves first. And the 3, as owners, as the team leaders, how do you put in efforts for the training? Maybe, you don't have the skill set totally required for your organizations. So what should be the training requirement? How do you do that? So that they have the insight for that. So let me first start. What is the expectation? Viral bhai, what should be the expectation from the government?
Or the institution?
पहले गवर्नमेंट की बात करते हैं, इंस्टीट्यूट पे तो आएंगे डिटेल में, बिकॉज द थिंग इज इंस्टीट्यूट आई कैन दैट इज वेरी मच विद इन आवर रीच एंड वी कैन वर्क अपॉन इट. सो लेट अस स्टार्ट cursory with the government first.
No, I think, so I'll just give you best example of my personal life. I have a 14-year-old daughter. She goes to school, she comes back with the homework. And she's scratching her head doing mathematics. Does she really need to learn mathematics now? I mean, that question I also ask myself. Right? Does she really need to remember, the definitions and all of that which she normally gets, her to kind of, do a homework? AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, your Excel, your calculator. It's like, if I ask my grandfather, because they were not using calculator, I think in his mindset, no, bachche ko to ginti aani hi chahiye. Foundation has to be right. That's good. But then, if I have to count from 1 to kind of, like the way, in most of the businesses were happening, that, they just run the numbers and they could calculate. In our generations, we can't, because we have got the tools and technology to do that for us. Right? So calculators are there. So we, like our grandfathers, the way they were counting, we cannot count. I think the similar way, we have to accept that change, that our kids, whatever we have learned, may not be the right thing for them to learn anymore. Similar way, I think it goes for the institute as well. I think if I talk about the Australian accounting or US accounting, there are many softwares, they are just single entry accounting. So someone who is actually doing the accounting, they just know what button needs to be pressed. If I'm just talking about the bookkeeping, they don't know what, debit and credits. But still work is getting done. But what they are very good at, which our chartered accountants may not be, is in the boardroom. The way they effectively communicate, the way that they do the presentation, the way they connect with the people, we can't. I think that's the biggest change I see we need to bring, that talent needs to be kind of educated and have to be up with the technology.
Thank you very much. Interestingly, mathematics. Many a times this question has come up. Why mathematics in chartered accountancy curriculum? Why do you require that? You require debit, credit, accounting, and why mathematics? That question has come number of times. But very interestingly, because we are talking about what we are expecting from government about education or something talent, then the education system should not only revolve around the subjects or domains. It is about the left brain and the right brain. The left brain being the analytical part, right? The logical part, which reasons. Worldwide, it has been proved that if you develop yourself good in logic of mathematics, not procedure, logic of mathematics, your left brain will develop very well. And similarly, I'm very unsure, why in our curriculum we don't have any dancing or singing. Believe me, if you really want to have good GCCs, right? In our curriculum, what you require is dancing, singing. The reason is the right part of the brain, that is the innovative part, the creative part of the brain. And we don't have anything in our syllabus which develops that, which is very, very crucial. The left, that is the analytical part, the logical part, sequential part. Sir, look at it. You want to go into a premium management institute across the globe. What is the subject? Quantitative aptitude. You want to go into technology. Once again, quantitative aptitude. Right? Why is it so? Left part. And the right part is about innovation, creativity. Very unfortunately, probably we have to introspect at all the levels whether we are serving both these parts in a lighter vein. In a lighter vein, we can say, looking at a particular gentleman or anyone, your brain is a perfect part, divided into two parts, of course, left and right. There is nothing right in your left and nothing left in your right. So, these are the things why mathematics should have been there, or creative subjects should have been there. You'll be surprised to know. In future, AI is going to affect more and more and more of our left brain part. So really, if you want there to be righty, it is the form of arts that should be more and more, because that will give you, your left part many times will make you rigid. This is the only possible answer, right? Where the interpersonal skills, become very difficult. Right part with creativity, different options means you will respect the view of the other person. These are very interesting psychological facts. Well, let me come to you, Kshitij bhai. What is your expectation? Means, expectation in the sense how we can go to the government, how you can come to us as council members, how we can together do something. It's a great opportunity for all of us, great opportunity that our nation can be the GCC center, we can be the service provider to the entire world. It may start with accounts and finance and everything, or everything they can look up at India. So how we together can do that? So what is your say on that, sir?
See, first of all, with the government, what I would say is that just like they have set up a IFSC, wherein you have a 10 years tax holiday plus the GST benefits and other benefits you have, I think they should go to the second and third tier city to set it up, so that anyone setting up in that centers can get that benefit. That is one. I would not expect the government to do much things, because I would expect government to be on the top of it as far as the regulatory is concerned. Business is, of course, it is our baby. It is not the baby of the government. So with the government, I think they are entering into lot of FTAs and mutually recognition agreements, so that it is beneficial for the chartered accountants to go out of the country. See, at present what happens is, you cannot have a collaboration with a non-chartered accountant, and more even who are not have mutual recognition with the institute. So I think the government will have to play a role there. No individuals can play that role. It has to be the government to government roles. As far as the ICAI is concerned, I think a major look has to be put on the soft skill training, which is to be given to the chartered accountant. I think after the completion of the final, they have to do some soft skill training. And from my interaction with the fresh chartered accountants, I think it has been pathetic, I would say. And when they come out of that, it is only for the purpose of just that you have to attend, therefore you attend. It is not like that. Basically, when you are a fresh chartered accountant, and if you get the soft skills training, that is very important as far as your future is concerned. That is one. And secondly, what has happened is that when as a chartered accountant, nowadays when you are coming out with the foundation, what happens is you have never attended your college. It is directly from the 12th, you are going on to become a chartered accountant. So what happens is your basics of accounting, debit what comes in and debit what, so that basic concept of accounting is missing. And the only focus of the chartered accountant is to pass the exam. So it is very important for the institute to deliver something to chartered accountants after they become CA, to change them from students to becoming professionals in life. And that is how also something on marketing and branding will become more important. If you look at the MBAs, if you are looking at the MBAs, they are very good marketeers. But when you talk about accounting to them, they are very poor as far as the accounting is concerned. So I think if the marketing and branding skills come on to a chartered accountant, there is nothing like it, and no one would be able to beat us to the getting the jobs or getting newer type of work.
So one thing, sir, that I can add here. So giving an example here, me and my client in the States wanted to do a joint venture, and he kind of went ahead and created the US part of it in a day or two, including the bank accounts. And here I was applying for a PAN card first with a few days of TAT, then GST with another week or 2 days of TAT. Then you have queries, then you have further reductions. Then there was another MCA compliance. So he was questioning me that you are doing business in a territory which has this long compliance and regulatory hurdles. So I feel the best part that government can do is reduce these and make ease of business actually in words rather than just presentations. And the second being from ICAI, I think the brand chartered accountancy and the technical competence that we as chartered accountants hold, I think it is not well marketed across the globe. Small example again, when I went to do my US CPA, I was informed that the graduation would give you 90 credits, the BCom graduation, and my chartered accountancy 3-year, 10, 20 papers, 3 years of internship, 3 levels would give me 60 credits. So I think that has to change significantly. We have so many chapters, but to leverage those chapters abroad, we could hold these GCC events outside on these chapters, which will be more fruitful to bring those GCCs, to bring those India brand awareness to the outside world, and to bring that CA brand awareness. What I've done my CA and my CPA. CA में जितनी जान निकली उतना easy I would say was the CPA. 4 papers, 6 months, and that is the highest qualification that the American standards would have. So I think what we have is not well marketed. That is what ICI can do, and government can play its part on just easing us. We have the talent in terms of entrepreneurship and the hard skills. We can deliver it, but all we need is just keep our ways clear for us to steer. Even if we want to do everything legally and ethically, there's always going to be some hurdle and some bureaucracy. I think these two things can help way much more than anything else. That is what I as an entrepreneur have experienced along with my entire journey.
Thank you, Sachin. So what government can do, we can just pass on the suggestions through the ICAI, as well as I think we are active with many trade associations. Only ICAI pitching does not suffice, right? ICAI definitely must. There is no doubt about it. But we all are part of trade associations, right? Various. When they also put up these points, when you talked about that in US the things can be done in 24 hours, and maybe in India it took months, then naturally if the trade associations come forward, right? There are corporates, large corporates and the representatives from large corporates. So we are all together. We are all sailing in the same boat, right? ICI, large corporates, trade associations. If we approach the government in the right way, then I'm sure that can be taken care of. But immediately, पहले हम ये बात कर लेते हैं, हम क्या कर सकते हैं, right? What government will do, fine. One very interesting thing that Kshitij bhai told is regarding branding and marketing. I'm very happy about it. Sir, why I'm happy, I'm just telling you. The President ICI has created a number of new committees, and whenever new committee comes, I'm given the charge of that. They don't give me direct tax, indirect tax or anything like that. So there is a committee called Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, where we are working on improving communication skills for chartered accountants, presentation skills, negotiation skills, team building skills, interpersonal skills. We are working on that. And believe me, these are very, very crucial. But हमारी काउंसिल में कई बार ऐसा होता है, एक दो काउंसिल में और बोलते हैं ये तो कोई कमिटी ही नहीं है. I personally believe, as he said, now see, we chartered accountants are good in technical domain, right? Domain expertise. But that is the batting side of cricket. What about the bowling? What we are lacking today? Let us not put the word lacking, but where we have the scope of improvement. Communication skills. And it is not only about language, right? It is not about only English. But how do we interact with people? Many a times, I would interact with someone with I attitude, and I attitude. It does not work. It does not work, right? So, communication, fortunately we have and you talked about the work-life balance. For that also the committee has been created, and I have been given this particular committee this year. So, one very interesting thing is said, if we chartered accountants read something and develop ourselves in terms of branding and marketing. And this is what, sir, a few days back only, We had the convocation here at Gandhinagar itself. And that is what I suggested chartered accountants, कि boss आपने CA कर लिया, अपनी वाह फिलहाल बंद करना बंद करो. I cleared in first attempt, rank और ये सब, but अब से लेके, is it possible? I think हम सब student है ना, बनना सही है. So every year, one book on marketing or branding, one book on leadership, one book on strategy. और वो Instagram के किसी के रील देखने की जगह पे इसके ऊपर कुछ सुन ले. These are interesting topics. These are interesting topics and believe me, it will add fragrance to the flower. इस पूरे सेशन में अगर एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट टेक अवे है, क्योंकि कब जीसीसी बनाएंगे, कब गवर्नमेंट को बताएंगे, इमीडिएट जो काम करना है अपने को, इमीडिएट वो ये है, कैन वी डू दिस, वी ऑल, थोड़ा ब्रांडिंग की बात करें, थोड़ा मार्केटिंग की बात करें, थोड़ी स्ट्रेटेजी की बात करें. आई रियली वॉन्ट टू सी टू इट. समहाउ आई एम नॉट श्योर, मीन्स क्यों ये नहीं कर पा रहे हम. मैं तो चाहता हूं 2 दिन का प्रोग्राम सिर्फ इन्हीं सब चीजों पे होना चाहिए. Of course we'll keep on doing on tax and all these things. Fortunately this year we did these programs, but हर जगह पे इतनी success मिलती नहीं है, because people, and this is not connected. मतलब पहले ही अपने प्रोफेशन का टॉपिक देखेंगे ना, तो is it out of the profession? That's the question. So that's a very beautiful thing that it is. I think Avinash ji wanted to, हाँ सर एक जरा इनको करके आप ले लीजिए. या पॉइंट वेरी वेल टेकन अप. आई एम श्योर इसमें कोई कंट्रोवर्सी है ही नहीं, क्लियर है कि ये करना ही चाहिए. एंड विल श्योरली पुट अप दिस मैटर बिफोर द प्रेसिडेंट फॉर श्योर. सर पहले इनको जरा सर को कर ले, आप एक एक करके मौका देंगे.
आई वुड लाइक टू शेयर दैट बेसिकली व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट स्ट्रेटजी, सो लास्ट ईयर आई हैड द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू गो टू हार्वर्ड टू टेक अ 5-day कोर्स ऑन लीडिंग प्रोफेशनल सर्विसेज फर्म. It was an investment for me. I left all my emails and mobile phones, everything, and I attended 8 to 8. It was a rigorous class with lot of case studies and lot of professors and lot of international co-students with me. But I became a student and I came out so enlightened. I would say that see, when you go there into the class, you think that you know so much things, and when we come out of the class, we understand that we know nothing about strategy. So I wanted to share with you that, see, you have to go and do something very different to get yourself into the groove of learning.
Fantastic. Pankaj bhai, my council colleague Pankaj Shah is there, our young and dynamic council. पंकज भाई, वी मस्ट ऑल्सो हैव समथिंग. हमें आपको बैठ के इंट्रोस्पेक्शन करना पड़ेगा कि हमारे ऐसे प्रोग्रामों को मॉर्निंग 8 to इवनिंग वॉट एवर 4 और वॉट एवर, पर लोग मोबाइल लेके नहीं आए, ईमेल्स को पीछे छोड़ के आए. फॉर दैट दे हैव सम रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, वी हैव मोर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. लेट अस डिजाइन अवर प्रोग्राम्स इन सच अ वे कि लोग कहें कि 1 मिनट भी लेट हो जाऊंगा ना तो नहीं चलेगा, 1 मिनट भी लेट हो जाऊंगा नहीं चलेगा. वी हैव टू टेक that thing, right? Our program design should be there कि आदमी मतलब सिटी देखे बिना चंडीगढ़ से बेंगलोर तक पहुंच जाए, राइट? टाइम पे पहुंचे, मतलब एकदम क्लियर उसी टॉपिक पे और एकदम इनोवेटिव तरह से रखे. सो डेफिनेटली वंस, कैन यू इमेजिन अ सीनियर चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट रीचिंग एट अ पर्टिकुलर पोजीशन एंड ही सेज 5 दिन ईमेल साइड पे, फोन साइड पे, मतलब कुछ डिलीवर हो रहा है ना, and we'll have to understand one thing, friends, we'll have to understand at ICAI level we'll put in all our efforts for that. But what happens, we'll have to perfectly understand हर एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का एक बिहेवियर होता है, एक डोमेन होता है. इफ इट इज इनकम टैक्स, ICAI will do fantastic. Maybe in one particular area it is not doing, maybe to that extent. So the question is, पहले हम थोड़ा अपने ऊपर ऑनर्स ले लें. मे बी माई पेरेंट्स डिड नॉट टीच मी सम फ्यू थिंग्स, बट आई थिंक दे आर इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर मी. वुड आई लर्न दैट? मैं जब कॉलेज में आया, अभय भाई, when I came to college, till then, I could not speak any language other than Gujarati. हिंदी भी नहीं आती थी, बायस नहीं था हिंदी के साथ. हम गुजरात में बहुत आराम से बोलते हैं, गुजराती एक्सेंट में बोलते हैं, लेकिन बोलते हैं. पर नहीं आती थी, गुजराती ही आती थी, राइट? इंग्लिश तो सीए बनने के बाद आई. सो द पॉइंट इज, इफ माई पेरेंट्स कुड नॉट टीच, पर मैं तो कर सकता था ना. वैसे ही हम यहाँ पे जितने लोग बैठे, लेट अस डिसाइड कि दीज आर द थिंग्स वी रिक्वायर. फिर उसके सोर्सेज ढूंढे, और आईसीआई जो कर सकती हो तो बिल्कुल करेगी आपके लिए, बट हम भी सोर्सेज ढूंढे. इस प्रोग्राम में आने का पर्पस आपका सिर्फ कुछ नॉलेज लेना नहीं है, राइट? आपका ग्रोथ है, आपकी थॉट प्रोसेस चेंज करने का है, राइट? फाइन सर, इफ यू वुड लाइक टू ऐड, श्रेयस भाई.
I think by and large everything is covered, but what I felt in this program in last 2 days, it is definitely a very good program, August audience and everything, but there should be the thing which I felt is missing, that is the industry connect in this program also. Like the GCC, what we are talking, it's currently being an ICI, it looks restricted maybe only to like a BATF sort of thing, not GCC. So the industry connect over here seems little missing. There should be some more industry participation, like maybe large players in the fields like Heinz or maybe the McDonald's or those type of pharma product. You all are very well connected as an association, but few of those organizations or entities can have that cross connection, and that would improve this to further levels, because we might be missing on the requirements of those entities. That's fine. Yeah, it's done. No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Kshitij bhai has to leave for another program. So before that, sir, if you would like to give some wonderful message to this wonderful audience. We want कि या तो ये बड़ी बड़ी जीसीसी क्रिएट कर रहे हैं, या तो इनके हैं तो ये उसको अच्छा डेवलप करें, और एल्स व्हाट एवर फील्ड दे चूज, दिस प्रोग्राम शुड प्रोवाइड देम सम इनपुट्स जो लेके जाए.
See, if you talk about GCC, I started my first GCC in 2002 for a tax return outsourcing into India from a company in California. So it is. See, I also, at that time when you talk about 99, 2000, we didn't know anything about outsourcing or GCC, or we didn't knew the words also, that what is outsourcing and what it can be do. It was an idea. So ultimately, I always say, you dare to dream big and you will achieve it. And you dare to dream out of box. See, if you are going to do auditing and accounting all the time, ultimately it will be there. So you have to come out of your comfort level. So once you come out of your comfort level, then only you can achieve something very different. And that is, I think, what we as chartered accountants need. At present, we are so much involved in our compliance that we don't think about value addition to the client or advisory or any other field. Like I think if you consider audit, I would also say that don't restrict yourself to India. Audit can be given to the US, audit can be given to the UK or Australia or any other country. Audit is audit everywhere. So that is also another opportunity what you have. So, but focus on a vertical. I would always say to people that focus on a vertical. Don't want to do everything, because once you go meddling with all the subjects, you will not be master at all. So you cannot be a master at all when you are talking about this. So you have to focus on a particular subject, you expertise yourself into that, and that is how I think you will grow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So Sachin, let me come to you. You mentioned about this Gen Zs. Are there different creature like what exactly, and means what is your experience handling them? What should be done, not done? Are they really different? That's a question.
So, one again, quoting an example, a Gen Z would see an Instagram reel today. You only live once, don't bear any toxic culture. And will come to office tomorrow and the manager says, can you kindly come regularly on time? You have been a bit irregular. And he clicks. ये तो वही बोल रहा है जो कल सुना था. So,
Thank you, Kshitij bhai.
but in short, that I have experienced, they're not stupid. They're not necessarily not hardworking, but they're also a bit more gullible to anything and everything, be it the online availability of. So online today, the matrix is such, jo aap sochoge, it will deliver you the exact same content. As managers, if we manage, हमें उल्टा content दिखाएगा. Gen Zs are bad. Like, we get this? So I think that is what we have experienced. Gen Zs in a manner are different primarily based on their gullibility. And we have to be a bit more careful in terms of shaping their work and performance and quality. But otherwise, we have also seen very hardworking folks, but also talking a lot more on work-life balance. Even, when I go to Surat and I see there's no Mumbai Connect, there's no someone who has never been outside, is still talking of work-life balance and leaving 5 minutes late, sir, I'm late. So that is a key difference. But I think when you build around it, so both Viral Bhai and Kshitij Bhai have built something since 2+ decades. So they were industry leaders here. So what we are trying to do in Surat is a bit more similar in terms of starting the talent pool, training, etc. from scratch. And this is what we face. So we don't train too much on technical stuff, but we train our managers ke daatna kaise hai. So you don't reprimand in public is one of our key initial trainings that we give to our managers. You reprimand in private and you praise in public. So these are very, very small aspects that we teach our managers differently. We teach our new joinees and trainees differently. But change is there. We have to work with it. Gen Z ke baad pata nahi, there's another alphabet which is coming up. But I think we'll do well. Good shoulders, no doubt about it.
Thank you. Yes, I think there were some few hands. Yes, sir. That is fantastic. We'll definitely put in efforts in that direction. The only thing is that they should also be that much enthusiastic. Please understand, हम इंडियंस को तो यूएस का पूरा अकाउंटिंग चाहिए यहाँ पे. वो यूएस में जो बैठे हैं ना वो भी रेडी होने चाहिए. Then we'll surely do that.
Certain industry and trade commerce are doing in such fashion, sir.
Sure. We already. सर जो भी हो सकता है आपके बेनिफिट के लिए क्यों नहीं करेंगे? For sure. Yes. सर हम क्वेश्चंस की बात कर रहे थे. सजेशंस तो हम आपके ऑफलाइन ले लेंगे. अगर आपके क्वेश्चंस है, we have panelist. Yes.
That we should have a marketing department. It is very must. Today, I am Ahmedabad or if they are opening any new college, there is a hue and cries that, they have come up with a new college. But ICAI, whether a new chapter opens or something, there is no marketing at all. So we must have a marketing department in our institute.
Fine. We'll pass on the suggestion for sure. Yes, questions please. Yes.
After transformation, the another biggest challenge of any GCC is the talent retention. So what happens is, we smaller firm, SMP firms, we become our training centers for the students. They are fit for big fours or big firms. Now for us SME firms like us, I'm sure that you will also face the similar challenge. What are the key strategies what we should adopt to retain these people whom we have trained in over a 6 months or 1 year period? So can you throw on some experiences of yours on that talent retention?
Viral bhai?
No, that's a very good question. सब लोग तो नहीं टिकेंगे. So you have to go with that mindset. क्योंकि सबके, there is a entrepreneurship, especially in Gujarat, सबके blood में है. So there is always people who wants to start their own businesses, right? So that is one side of things. I think second, in terms of the retention, what I have seen in my journey, retention ki strategies depending on the type of, the kind of a position you are trying to retain. So if you are trying to retain a director, there is a different strategy. If you are trying to retain a manager, there is a different strategy. And if you are trying to retain the person who is just joined, has a different strategy. And I think if you really think of that, it also goes with the age group. 20 साल का बंदा है, उसका expectation in terms of motivation in his life is very different to someone who is married and at the age of 35. So you have to have a strategy which is very much personalized to that position. Otherwise, that problem will be there, but obviously you could have strategies around that.
Yes. Last two questions quickly. I think the next session. Last question. Okay. Last one. यही बोल के. Yes, madam. Okay. The question that she is asking is not only about communication skills, but technical skills also, right? How to address that particular thing. See, at the institute level, if we talk about it, we will always keep on upgrading our curriculum and see to it that we provide such type of skills. But along with the skill set, the will set is also important. Not every person has the will, right? That willingness is different for different people. So at the time of recruitment, you have to look into this particular aspect. Second is in-house training, which might serve that particular purpose. But let me just put up the question, sir. How do we handle this thing?
So, ma'am, I think what I have experienced, if I give you a lecture on income tax for 3 hours, I don't think so you'll be very excited. So similar philosophy goes to the people who you are expecting them to be technically trained. What I have done in my organization, I have actually gamified the entire technical knowledge. So you kind of incorporate the hackathon, you bring the games, you put the budget of 10-15,000 of Amazon voucher, movie voucher, and gamified the entire learning, and you will not even realize that how people will start learning. And second, and this is very, very Indian way of teaching, वो आपको the way we do it, right? मैं आपको training देता हूँ, if I teach you on one topic, I really want to test आप इसमें पास होते हो कि नहीं होते हो. I think fundamental mistake we are making is that whether the teaching has been passed on to you or not. मेरा purpose तो सिखाने के था. मेरा purpose is not to see that you are getting 90% or 80%. मेरा purpose सिखाने के था. So that's why you could have an open book kind of an exam, right? Where you don't expect people to remember things like school में सिखाते हैं, right? So I think those are the techniques can be adapted.
Thank you very much. Very quickly, Abhay bhai, एक बार फटाफट panelist, if they want to add something, any words of wisdom, sir? Shreyansh bhai, Sachin, any words of wisdom for our audience?
Sir, not typically to the point, but I would like to say કે આજકાલના દિવસોમાં આપણા બધા પાસે opportunities છે. Going with the scenario what India is passing through, but we will have to learn how to say no better. આપણે કદાચ કોઈ પણ કામ આવશે તો we generally don't say no. But we now need to say no and focus on our core strength and pass on the opportunities which are not our core strength. And we generally avoid doing so because we are all by profession and we are all entrepreneurs. So આપણે કોઈ opportunity જતી ના કરી શકીએ. But now is the time we should focus on our core and pass on the other opportunities and expand in what we know better and what we do better.
Thank you, sir. Sachin.
So I think I was prepared with a few suggestions I gave for ICI. One important suggestion that I personally had for the industry, while we have players from the industry as well here, is as industry entrepreneurs, we spend a lot of time, effort and money of our own firm at the scale at which each of us are. Why can't we maybe create a body, association or anything which pools time, efforts and money together and creates talent, material, trainings, etc., which a lot of firms are trying to parallelly build with their firm, which feeds in talent amongst themselves. These easy courses, etc., could be integrated within the college itself, within CA courses itself, designed and managed entirely by the industry and primarily delivered with collaboration from the academia and ICI. I think would go a long way in helping us solve this challenge at a scale.
Thank you very much, Sachin. Fine. So what we'll do is we'll be continuing with our discussion informally also. The next session is ready. So should I request Abhay to take over now, please?
Thank you very much. I think a big round of applause for all the panelists. And excellent moderation being done by Chhaira sir. Thank you so much. Wonderful session on talent transformation, upskilling India for GCC 4.0. Just to add a couple of things with respect to the initiatives of the investment, global opportunities available for members who can even think of, or I just mentioned, think of out of box, think of something differently. And I think he's spoken about work-based learning, spoken about the vocational training, all. I think Sachin ji, thank you so much for being here. Excellent panel we had today. A lot of interaction, a lot of discussion on the upskilling. This is the need of an hour. We talk about not just GCC, every area we do in practice. I think upskilling is part of our day-to-day practice, which is needed. So thank you so much, Viral sir, Sachin sir, Shreyansh ji, and of course, very important, Jai bhai, moderation, and Aishwarya for conducting this, and Kshitij bhai in absentia. Thank you all the participants for the patient hearing, and we gear up for the next session. Thank you very much.